Stop. Do not scroll past this. What you did today changed your coordinates in the spirit, and heaven had to act immediately. The plans you built are gone. Not because you failed, because you finally became someone God cannot afford to send to the wrong destination. This is not a message for everyone watching. This word was prepared for the person who stopped here at this exact moment, because something inside them recognized that what just happened to their plans was not random. You did not find this by accident. You are disoriented right now. I want you to sit in that for a moment before I give you any relief, because the disorientation is data, and I need you to feel it fully before I reinterpret it. Something you built, something you prayed over, waited for, and shaped carefully with both hands has either collapsed, stalled, or been removed from the board without explanation. The ground beneath your strategy has shifted. You are standing in the aftermath, looking at what was, trying to understand how to account for what is. The silence after a plan dies is a specific kind of silence. It is not the silence of an empty room. It is the silence of a room where something large has just moved, and you are still processing the displacement of air. You are not numb. You are not fine. You are in the particular disorienting quiet of someone whose plans just stopped existing and who does not yet know what to do with their hands. And the thought beneath the silence, the one you have not said aloud yet, is this. Maybe this means God was never in it. Maybe the cancellation is evidence of misalignment. Maybe you heard wrong, moved wrong, or trusted wrong. Maybe this is punishment wearing the mask of circumstance. I need you to hold that thought right where it is. Do not release it yet. Do not defend yourself against it. We are going to dismantle it, but only after I have shown you what it actually is. Here is what I know. In the spirit, the moment you stopped scrolling was already marked. This word was prepared before this week began, but it required you to arrive at this specific condition to receive it. The disorientation is not disqualifying you, it is positioning you. There is a difference between those two things, and by the time this word is complete, you will feel that difference somewhere beneath your sternum. Something happened today. A moment. It may have felt small, or it may have cost you everything you had left, but a moment occurred in which you crossed a threshold you did not see, marked on the floor. A surrender. A prayer that finally meant what you said, an act of obedience at personal cost. Or a breaking point so complete that your hands finally fully opened. Think of a key entering a lock. The key was already cut. The lock was already installed. All that remained was the turning. Today, you turned. And the moment that key turned, heaven had to respond. Not at a scheduled time, not next week. Immediately, because what crossed the threshold today was not the same person who built those plans. The plan that was in motion was calibrated for who you were before you turned the key. And God does not deliver letters to addresses you no longer live at. He reroutes. I have not yet told you what you actually did today. And when I do, it will change how you see everything that happened this week. Before I go further, if this word is already landing, if something in you recognized itself in what you just heard, type the words, "I am here," in the comments right now. Not as an interaction, as a declaration, as the acknowledgement that you showed up for what was prepared for you. Heaven already recorded your arrival. Let the record show that you named it too. I have something specific to deliver to you today. Not a general comfort offered to everyone who is struggling. A precision word, the kind that arrives when heaven has looked at your file and determined that the silence can no longer hold what needs to be said. What happened to your plans was not the end of the message, it was the message. I have not yet told you the most important thing. Before I name what I see, I need you to do one thing. Place one hand over your chest, not as a gesture but as a positioning. Because what I am about to say requires your body to receive it, not just your mind. Some words land in the intellect and stay there. This word is not going there. It is going to the place where you have been holding what happened, quietly without fully naming it, since the moment the ground shifted beneath you. I am going to name 5 things, 5 specific markers that are present in your life right now. As I name each one, you will feel either recognition, the kind that moves through you quietly, like something confirmed, or distance. If you feel recognition, Do not explain it away. That is not coincidence. That is your spirit already knowing what your mind is still in the process of accepting. Let the recognition come. The first sign: the plan did not erode slowly. It did not deteriorate over months of gradual failure. It stopped with a precision that felt almost surgical. You have been trying to account for it as circumstance, as timing, as the sum of poor decisions. But somewhere beneath the explanation, part of you knows that the specificity of when it ended was not accidental. Precision that sharp does not originate in chaos, it originates in a deliberate hand. The second sign: you had a knowing before the collapse arrived. Not panic, a low interior awareness that something was shifting beneath the surface of what you could see. You may have prayed against it, you may have pressed forward anyway. But that prior sense was not anxiety producing worst-case scenarios. It was your spirit registering movement in the realm your natural eyes had not yet caught. You were sensing the rerouting before the screen updated. The third sign is a prayer, not a comfortable one. A prayer you prayed recently, perhaps this week, perhaps today, that required you to open your hands around something you had been holding tightly. It may have felt small. It may have cost you everything you had left. But you prayed it with a degree of honest surrender that surprised you. That prayer was not left unanswered. It is the precise reason you are receiving this word right now. The fourth sign is the weight of the grief. What disappeared may not look catastrophic from the outside, but the grief you feel is not proportional to what is gone. It is proportional to what you believed that plan represented. A door, a signal that God was advancing something. That disproportionate grief is not weakness, and it is not spiritual immaturity. It is your spirit registering how significant the thing in motion actually was. The fifth sign is the simplest and the most revealing. You stopped here. You did not reach for strategy, comfort, or a practical path forward. Something drew you to a prophetic word, to sit with the weight of what happened rather than immediately outrun it. That pull was not passive. It was the Holy Spirit actively positioning you to receive what heaven has been holding until you were standing exactly here, exactly as you are now. Every one of these five things, the surgical precision of the collapse, the prior knowing, the costly prayer, the disproportionate grief, and your presence here, they are not separate events accumulating randomly. They are a single sequence. A sequence I am about to show you from the angle heaven has been watching it from, and when I do, none of this will look the way you have been interpreting it. Type the word recalibrate in the comments right now. Not as an interaction, as a decree. You are not engaging with a platform. You are planting a flag in the spirit over the threshold you crossed today. Let the record show you stood here, recognized the signs, and declared what heaven is already doing at your coordinates. Recalibrate. Type it now. Return to the image I gave you at the beginning, the key being cut, the lock already installed. Every sign I just named was the sound of that key moving into position. The prior knowing, the honest prayer, the grief too large for the loss, your being here. These were not random accumulations of difficulty. These were the tumblers of the lock falling one by one into alignment. And what is critical about that image? A lock that turns does not partially open. When the last tumbler falls, the mechanism releases completely. What shifted in your spirit today was not partial, and it was not reversible. The door that opened is open. The question I am about to answer is not whether it opened. It is what is waiting on the other side. There is a word in the original Hebrew that your English Bible almost certainly mistranslated, and that mistranslation is precisely the reason you have been reading every one of these five signs as evidence that something went wrong. When you understand what this word actually means, not the surface translation, but the precise original action it describes, everything you just recognized in yourself will collapse into a single, devastating, clarifying truth. Stay with me. The word is nacham. Say it once, norkam. Most English Bibles, when they encounter this word applied to God, translate it as repent. But God cannot repent of sin, he has none. So translators reach for relent or change his mind, and those translations, while safer, still miss the original weight of what this word is carrying. Nacham does not mean to reverse a decision out of regret. It means something far more precise and far more personal to what happened to you today. Nacham means to breathe deeply, to sigh with intensity in response to a new condition, to look at what is now present, something that was not present before, and allow that new reality to determine the next movement. When the Hebrew writer reaches for Nacham to describe God's action, he is not describing weakness or indecision. He is describing precision, a God who looks at a changed spiritual landscape and recalibrates his response to what is actually there, not to what was there before, not to who you were, to who you just became. Here is what that means for you. The moment you crossed that threshold today, the prayer you prayed, the surrender you made, the obedience that cost you something, the breaking point that finally opened your hands, you created a new spiritual condition. You did not exist at those coordinates before today, and heaven, which responds not to your ambitions, but to your actual spiritual position, looked at who you became in that moment and said, everything currently in motion was designed for who this person was yesterday. That person no longer exists at this address. Nacham, we recalibrate now. The plans did not die because they were wrong. They died because you outgrew them. God does not forward mail to addresses you no longer live at. He does not deliver a destiny designed for the lesser version of you to the greater version that just emerged. The cancellation was not rejection. It was the precise, weight-bearing response of a God who takes your growth too seriously to keep sending you somewhere you have already surpassed. That is Nacham. That is what your English Bible almost certainly did not give you. And that mistranslation is the reason this week has felt like punishment instead of precision. Return to the image of the key in the lock. A key does not make a sound when it enters. The sound comes when it turns. Nacham is the sound of heaven turning, not the sound of failure, not the sound of abandonment. The sound of a mechanism releasing, a door that has been locked since before you built those plans, suddenly standing open, because the person standing on this side of it finally matches the person that door was installed for. The lock did not change. You did. Now, here is the part of Nacham that will shift something in your chest. God Nacham toward Nineveh when Nineveh changed condition. He Nacham toward Saul of Tarsus on a road to Damascus. In both cases, the Nacham was not a soft, gradual adjustment. It was immediate, total, and irreversible. The new condition demanded a new response, and heaven gave it without hesitation, without delay, and without apology for the disruption it caused. That is what precision looks like from the inside of the disruption. From the inside, it looks like chaos. From heaven's angle, it is correction arriving exactly on time. I told you the deepest truth was still ahead. This is the moment it arrives, and it wears the face of a man riding toward Damascus with funded authorization and a complete strategy. Saul was not drifting. He was not confused. He had a mission, a method, a destination, and the full institutional backing of the most powerful religious authority of his time. His plans were not built on sand. They were built on stone, ratified by systems, moving with momentum. There was nothing circumstantially wrong with where he was going, and yet heaven interrupted everything, not gradually, in a single moment. Light so total he could not see. A voice he did not recognize. Complete disorientation. Everything he knew about where he was going, why he was going, and who he was in the going, gone. Without a replacement strategy handed to him on the spot, without a new plan inserted immediately in place of the old one, just the aftermath, the specific, disorienting quiet of someone whose plans had stopped existing and who did not yet know what to do with his hands. That is where you are right now, in the 3 days. Sit with that for a moment before I move forward. For 3 days, Saul sat in blindness. No sight, no plan, no identity that still held its shape. He did not receive new instructions on day 1. He was not given a replacement strategy on day 2. He simply sat in the aftermath, in a silence that was not empty, but full of something he could not yet see. That is where you are right now. And I need you to understand what those 3 days actually were, because Saul did not spend them rebuilding. He spent them being recalibrated. The blindness was not punishment, it was the chamber. What emerged from that chamber was not Saul 2.0, not an upgraded version of the original mission. What emerged was Paul, carrying a commission so structurally different from Saul's plans that Saul's network, Saul's methods, and Saul's destination would have actively prevented it. The cancelled plans were not wrong for Saul, they were right for Saul. The problem is that Saul did not walk into Damascus, Paul did. And Paul needed different coordinates, different doors, and a trajectory that could not have been reached from Saul's original heading. That is the mirror. Do not rush past it. The person who built those plans was not wrong. Those plans were designed for who you were when you built them, carefully, with faith, with specific prayer over every detail. But you did not arrive at this threshold as the same person. Something happened, and the one standing here now is operating with a different capacity, a different weight, a different depth than the version of you who assembled that strategy. The old plan could not carry what you are now carrying, and God, in his Nacham, refused to let you arrive at a lesser destination with a greater anointing. The GPS reroutes not when you have failed, but when a faster, more direct road becomes available. The missile corrects trajectory mid-flight not because it has missed its target, but because a clearer lock has been established. The key turns not when the door breaks, but when the right person is finally standing in front of it. All three images were always pointing to a single unified truth. You are not lost. You are being found at a more precise location, and the recalibration is not coming. It is already in motion. From the exact moment you did what you did today. Say this aloud right now, not quietly, not internally, with your actual voice, in the actual room where you are sitting. The cancellation is the confirmation. Speak it as a decree. You are not convincing yourself of something uncertain. You are aligning your voice with what heaven already decided the moment you cross that threshold today. The recalibration does not require your permission to proceed, but your voice, spoken in agreement with what is already moving, positions you to move with it rather than against it. Speak it again. The cancellation is the confirmation. Nacham does not operate on human timelines. When heaven looks at a new spiritual condition and recalibrates, the recalibration does not wait for your grief to subside. It does not wait for you to feel ready. It does not pause while you process the loss of what was cancelled. It moves now with or without your emotional alignment, because the new condition is already real, regardless of how you feel about the old one. Your job in this window, the 72 hours following what you did today, is not to rebuild. It is to keep pace with what is already being rerouted on your behalf. Here is what this means practically. The doors that were in front of the cancelled plan are not your doors anymore. The relationships that were feeding the cancelled plan were calibrated for that trajectory, not for this one. The timing you had built around the cancelled plan was designed for someone whose coordinates have now changed. This is not loss. This is architectural. God is not removing things from your life arbitrarily. He is stripping the scaffolding designed for a building that no longer matches the blueprint. The structure underneath is not collapsing. It is being freed to rise to its actual height. I promise to come back to what the recalibration is actually building, what the new trajectory produces, what the destination looks like from the inside of a Nacham. We are close. But before I show you that, I need to name who you are now. Not who you were when those plans were being built. Not who the disruption has made you feel like in the hours since the ground shifted. Who you actually are, classified, named, and commissioned. In the record, heaven updated the moment you turned the key. The deepest truth is still ahead, and it has your name on it. You are not who you were this morning. I need you to receive that, not as encouragement, but as a classified fact. Heaven updated the record on you today, and what was written about you in the moment you crossed that threshold is not the same entry that existed when you built those plans. There are 3 names recorded over you right now, not names you earn through performance. Names you entered into when you did what you did today. I am going to say them aloud, and as I do, something in your body will recognize each one before your mind finishes processing it. The first name is this: the threshold crosser. A threshold is not a metaphor for progress, it is a spiritual boundary. A line that, once crossed, cannot be uncrossed. The person who crossed it cannot return to the coordinates they occupied before the crossing. What you did today, whether it felt monumental or barely visible, was a threshold event in the register of heaven. not because of its size, because of what it cost you. And that cost is what makes the title binding, permanent, and operative from this moment forward. What the threshold crosser carries is this: the authority to operate from the other side of the door, not aspiring toward what is on the other side, already positioned within it. The plans that were built on your previous coordinates no longer apply, and that is not a setback. It is a jurisdictional expansion. You are not standing at a door trying to gain entry. You are already inside. The grief you have been feeling about what was cancelled is in part your spirit registering a location change it did not yet have language for. Now you have language. You crossed. Everything God is doing in this season is being done from this side of that line. The second name is this: the Nacham Carrier. This name is not given to everyone who suffers disruption. It is given to the one whose interior change was significant enough to force heaven to recalibrate in real time. You did not just experience a divine course correction. You caused one. Your surrender, your obedience, your honest prayer, these were not passive responses to God's movement. They were active spiritual conditions that created a new reality God was required to respond to. Nacham flows toward you, yes, but you also carry Nacham as a mark of what you are capable of producing in the spirit. What the Nacham carrier activates is a specific relationship with divine response. Your alignment creates heaven's movement, not the other way around. This is not arrogance, it is accountability. The atmosphere around you is sensitive to your interior posture in a way that ordinary spiritual positioning does not carry. When you surrender, things move. When you pray with honesty, trajectories shift. When you open your hands around what you have been gripping, God does not slowly consider a response. He breathes deeply, sighs with the weight of a new condition, and recalibrates everything immediately. You carry that capacity now. Do not lay it down lightly. The third name, and this one will take a moment to settle, is this: the recalibrated one. Not someone waiting to be recalibrated, not someone hoping the recalibration will one day be complete. Someone in whom the recalibration has already occurred, is actively finishing its work, and whose new trajectory is already locked. The recalibrated one does not move toward a destination. They move from the moment today created, toward everything that moment made accessible. The lock turned. The GPS has rerouted. The missile has found a more precise bearing. And the one carrying all three of those images unified is you. What the recalibrated one inherits is not a new plan assembled from the wreckage of the old. It is an architecturally superior commission, designed for the person who emerged from the threshold, not the person who approached it. The relationships being rerouted toward you now are not consolation connections. They are calibrated for who you are at these new coordinates. The doors that will open are not backup doors. They are the doors that were never accessible from your previous heading. You are not receiving less. You are being sent somewhere your former trajectory could not have delivered you. The key has turned. The GPS has already announced the new route. The missile is locked to the real target, not the approximate one. And now, for the first time in this word, all three of those images are pointing at the same moment. This one, not what is coming, what is already here. You are named. You are classified. The record in heaven reflects exactly who is standing on this side of today, and none of those three names are temporary designations. They are permanent markings on a person whose coordinates heaven could no longer afford to leave unaddressed. If you are still here, if these three names landed somewhere real inside you, press the like gently. Not for this channel, because someone whose plans just collapsed is going to be offered this exact word tomorrow. And the only reason they will find it is because of what you just did. That is not platform mechanics. That is the Nacham carrier doing what they carry. I promised I would come back to something, I will, but first, there is something critical you need to understand about what happens next, because the enemy already knows which name was just spoken over you, and he is preparing to move against it immediately. The enemy heard every word that was just spoken over you. He was present when you crossed the threshold. He registered the Nacham. He knows which names were written over you. The threshold crosser, the Nacham carrier, the recalibrated one, and he is not indifferent to them. What is coming next is not random spiritual resistance. It is a targeted, sequenced counterattack designed specifically for someone whose coordinates heaven just updated. You need to know what it looks like before it arrives. The first tactic is the grief flood. Within hours, as possibly already beginning, the enemy will make the loss of the cancelled plans feel so enormous, so personal, so irreversible, that you become emotionally incapable of receiving what is being built in its place. It will feel like legitimate grief. It is grief, but it is being amplified beyond its actual weight, weaponized to fill the space between the old plan and the new one with mourning so dense that heaven's recalibrated instructions cannot find a landing place inside you. The weapon against the grief flood is the forward decree. Speak this aloud, alone, in your actual voice right now or before this day ends. I release was named the plan specifically, not generally by name, and I receive what is being built in its place. Speak it once with full intent and open hands. Do not repeat it. Repetition in this context is not faith. It is rumination wearing the costume of prayer. One decree, spoken with complete surrender, is the weapon. The grief flood cannot stay in a room that has been cleared by a single decisive release. The second tactic is the speed temptation. Within 72 hours of a divine recalibration, and you are inside that window right now, the enemy will generate intense internal pressure to rebuild immediately. New plans, new timelines, new strategies assembled from the wreckage of the old. This pressure will feel like faith. It will feel like initiative, maturity, resilience. It is the enemy's most sophisticated move against you in this season, inserting a human-designed replacement before heaven's recalibrated design can arrive and take the space it was prepared for. The weapon against the speed temptation is the strategic pause. For the next 48 hours, no new plans, no new commitments, no new timelines constructed from your own understanding of where you should go next. This is not passivity. This is a combat position. You are holding the frequency open. You are refusing to fill with noise the exact space that heaven is preparing to fill with precision. The strategic pause is not waiting in weakness. It is guarding the threshold you just crossed from being immediately cluttered with your own rebuilding. The third tactic is the comparison feed. The enemy will surface on your timeline, in your conversations, in your thoughts, specific examples of others whose plans are intact, succeeding, and on schedule. You will begin to feel uniquely disrupted, uniquely targeted, uniquely cursed, while everyone around you seems untouched by the kind of cancellation you just lived. This is a curated illusion. It is constructed specifically to reinterpret your recalibration as punishment and to make the precision of what heaven is doing feel like being singled out for suffering. The weapon against the comparison feed is the information fast. For 7 days, withdraw specifically from the information streams that carry the comparison, certain timelines, certain group conversations, certain people who consistently broadcast their wins in this particular season. This is not avoidance, it is signal protection. During the most critical window of a recalibration, the days immediately following the threshold, your ability to hear heaven's new instructions is directly proportional to the amount of noise you refuse to let into the space. Guard the signal. We break the grief flood that is attempting to fill the recalibration chamber with mourning too heavy for the actual loss. We break the speed temptation pressuring you to rebuild before heaven's design can arrive and take its rightful place. We break the comparison feed constructing the illusion that your disruption is punishment while others go untouched. Now, if you are still here, I want you to do something before this word moves into its final section. Subscribe to this channel, not for content, not for the algorithm, because the word that was prepared for you today arrived here, and the next word prepared for you is already being assembled. When it is released, you need it to find you without delay, without resistance, without you having to search for it in a moment when you are too disoriented to search. Subscribe as an act of positioning. You are not following a channel. You are staying in the room where words prepared for you are being delivered. The 3 tactics are now named. The 3 weapons are now in your hands. You are not walking into the next 72 hours unaware and unequipped. You know what is coming, what it is designed to do, and exactly how to dismantle it before it can do it. What remains, and it is the most important section of everything spoken today, is the sealing of everything you have received. The recalibration does not finalize itself. It is sealed in prayer, in declaration, in the spoken agreement of the one who crossed the threshold. We are almost there. Stay with me. Close your eyes now. Not as ritual, as deliberate positioning. You have been receiving this word with your mind. What comes next requires something deeper. Place one hand over your chest, over the exact place where you have been holding the weight of what was cancelled, and breathe slowly. One breath in. Hold it 3 seconds. Release it. That breath is not preparation. It is already the beginning of what happens next. Stay in that position. I am going to speak over you now, not offer suggestions, not present options, not give you language to consider. I am going to declare what heaven is doing at your specific coordinates, in your specific season, over the specific life of the specific person who crossed a threshold today. Receive this with your body, not only your mind. Let it land in the place that has been carrying what you could not yet name. We begin. I release you from the plan you built, not from its intention, from its form. The vision that lived inside that plan is not being buried. It is being transferred into a structure that can actually carry it. But the specific strategy, the specific timeline, the specific sequence of events you had assembled, those were calibrated for coordinates you no longer occupy. Open your hands physically as I say this. Release it. It is done. I release you from the interpretation that the cancellation is evidence of rejection. That lie has been sitting beneath every thought you have had since the ground shifted, quietly, persistently, reframing every piece of what happened as proof that you were wrong, or heard wrong, or trusted wrong. That interpretation is severed from your spirit right now by name at the root. The cancellation was not the Father turning his face away. It was him turning your trajectory towards something your previous heading could not have reached. I release you from the urgency to rebuild immediately. The pressure you have been feeling to replace what was cancelled, to fill the silence with strategy, to demonstrate that you are not paralyzed. I declare that pressure broken from your nervous system right now. You do not need to build anything in the next 48 hours. Heaven is not waiting on your initiative. It is waiting for your stillness. The recalibration chamber requires that you remain in it, not that you exit it faster. I release you from the grief that has been functioning as a spiritual blockade. Grief over what was cancelled is not sin. It is human. But grief that has grown dense enough to prevent the new instructions from landing is a weapon being actively deployed against you. I declare that grief honored, you are allowed to have felt what you felt. And then I declare it released, not suppressed, not dismissed, released. It has served its purpose. It does not get to remain as gatekeeper. Step through. Before I call forward what heaven has named over you, type the words I release in the comments right now. Not as engagement, as covenant. You are not responding to a platform. You are planting a flag in the spirit over every item I just named. Heaven registered your threshold crossing. Let this be the record that you agreed with what heaven did. Type it now. I release. I call forward the threshold crosser. You, standing on the other side of what you did today, I call you into the full operational authority of that position. You are not aspiring toward what is on the other side of the door. You are already inside. Every instruction heaven releases from this moment forward is released to your new coordinates, not the coordinates of the person who built those plans. The threshold crosser moves from the crossing, not toward it. Step into what is already yours. I call forward the Nacham carrier. You and the one whose interior change was significant enough to force heaven's recalibration in real time, I call you into full awareness of what you carry. When you surrender, trajectories shift. When you pray with honesty, heaven breathes deeply and recalibrates everything in your atmosphere. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. Your circumstances are responsive to your spiritual posture. The Nacham carrier does not beg for heaven's movement. They become the condition that produces it. I call forward the recalibrated one. Not the version of you waiting for the recalibration to finish. The version of you in whom it has already occurred is finishing its work right now and whose new trajectory is already locked. The GPS has announced the new route. The missile is locked to the real target. The key has turned and the door is open. The recalibrated one does not move toward a destination. They move from this moment, toward everything this moment made accessible. That is you. Type the words "I am recalibrated" in the comments right now, as a decree, as the spoken agreement of the one who recognizes their own name in what was just called forward. Heaven already recorded the names over you. Let the record show that you received them. Type it. I am recalibrated. The key has turned. The lock is open. The GPS has rerouted, and the new road is clear. The missile is not circling. It is locked, descending, arriving with precision at the exact target it was always meant to find. All three images have collapsed into a single, unified reality. You are not in motion toward recalibration. You are already inside it. This is not the threshold approaching. This is the other side of it, active, accelerating, carrying your name at the coordinates heaven updated today. Do not say amen yet. We are not finished. Stay with me. I place a hedge around the next 72 hours of your life, not as a request for protection from difficulty, but as an active spiritual covering over the most critical window of a divine recalibration. Every conversation that approaches you in this window is arriving inside a covered field. Every silence, every door that appears, and every one that does not, all of it is being governed. Heaven is not watching your recalibration from a distance. It is present at every coordinate your life occupies, from this moment forward, as shield and as guide simultaneously. I place a covering over every relationship being restructured by the new trajectory. The connections being released from your previous heading. I declare their departure clean. No bitterness, no spiritual residue, no confusion allowed to follow you into what God is building. The connections being rerouted toward you. I declare their arrival unobstructed, no enemy-engineered delay, no premature collision before the ground is prepared to hold them. Both movements are covered. Both are under guard. Neither will be intercepted before it fulfills its purpose in the life heaven is assembling at your new coordinates. I place a covering over your mind, specifically by name over the three fields where the attack will concentrate. Against the grief flood, your emotional architecture is declared stable, able to honor the loss without being submerged by it. Against the speed temptation, a supernatural stillness is declared over the 48-hour pause, not the stillness of inaction, but of a loaded spring before release. Against the comparison feed, your clarity of your own lane is declared so precise that what others appear to be doing loses all power to reinterpret what God is specifically doing with you. We break the grief flood before it can fill the recalibration chamber with mourning too dense for heaven's new instructions to penetrate. We break the speed temptation before your hands dismantle what the strategic pause is actively building. We break the comparison feed before it can rewrite divine precision as divine punishment. And now, I step aside. There is a voice that has been present throughout every word delivered today, and it is not mine. It has been waiting for the covering to be placed and the breaking to be declared. This is the voice that was inside the silence after the collapse, the one you thought was empty. It was not empty. It was never empty. I saw you when you did it. The moment your hands opened, the exact instant the grip released around what you had been holding so carefully, I was there, not observing, waiting. I had been waiting for that specific configuration of your surrender longer than you have been building the plan. I did not cancel what you built because I looked away. I canceled it because that moment finally, fully turned your face toward mine. What you read as my silence in the aftermath was actually my first response to your arrival. The silence after the collapse, the specific disorientation of a room where something large has moved and you are still registering the displacement. I was inside it. I do not disappear when your plans do. I become more present when they do, because the noise of your building no longer fills the space between us. I did not remove the plan as punishment. I cleared the room so you could hear what I have been trying to say since before you assembled the first piece of what just ended. This is what I've been trying to say. The prayer you prayed, the honest one, the costly one, the one that surprised you with how much it meant. I received it not as a petition to be filed, but as a new condition to respond to immediately. I took everything already in motion on your behalf and recalibrated it to meet the person who prayed that prayer. You were further along than the plan. The plan had to change, not the promise inside it, the architecture. I could not afford to deliver to the person you had just become something designed for who you were before you prayed it. The grief that was too large for what you visibly lost, I placed that in you, as a compass, not a wound. You felt something disproportionate, because the promise inside that plan was always disproportionate. You were not grieving the strategy. You were grieving the distance you believed had just opened between you and the thing the plan represented. Receive this as settled truth. That distance does not exist. The promise has not moved. What felt like losing ground was me lifting you to ground that the promise was always waiting for you to reach. You are not starting over. I am not asking you to begin again from the beginning. I am asking you to begin from here, from the highest point you have ever occupied, from the elevation that required every season you walked through to reach. I have not abandoned the investment I made in making you. I am deploying it. The trajectory is locked. The road is open. I am sending you now, not when the grief clears, not when the plan is replaced, not when you feel certain, now as exactly who today made you. The Father has spoken, the covering is placed. What remains belongs to you, not as performance, not as emotion, but as commission. Stand up straight in your spirit. Put your feet where they actually are, on this side of the threshold, at coordinates that did not exist for you before today. What I am about to declare over you is not aspirational. It is operational. It is true right now. Receive it with open hands. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. You are committed to the God who looked at the new condition you created today and said Nacham over everything in motion. You are commissioned with the full authority of someone whose surrender forced heaven to recalibrate in real time. You are sent, not toward the threshold you crossed, but from it, into a trajectory that your previous heading could not have delivered you to. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. Speak it aloud, in your actual voice, in the actual room where you are sitting. Because a commission spoken in agreement with what heaven has already declared is a commission sealed. Carry it into the 72 hours. Carry it into every space the cancelled plan once occupied. Do not say, Amen yet. Sit in what just happened here. Let the full weight of the distance between the person who arrived today and the one who just spoke that commission over their own life be completely real. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. Now, you may say Amen. Send this to someone whose faith is still standing but whose hands are getting tired. Not someone who has stopped, someone who is holding on with what they had left when this week began, who would not have found this word on their own, but who will recognize their life in the first sentence. You do not need to write anything. You do not need to explain. Just send it. The word will go where you cannot reach. You already know who I am describing. You have thought of them at least once since I began speaking. The weight of what happened here is not something to rush past or release too quickly. You arrived carrying the specific quiet of someone whose plans had stopped existing and who did not yet know what to do with their hands. You leave carrying 3 names heaven wrote over you in the moment you turned the key: the threshold crosser, the Nacham carrier, the recalibrated one. Those names are not provisional. They do not diminish with the next difficulty. Take them into tomorrow, into the 72 hours. Into every door the new trajectory will open. They will prove themselves true in ways you have not yet seen, and when they do, you will know that what happened here was never random. It was Nacham, heaven breathing deeply, looking at who you became and sending everything in a new direction.